Hey guys, what's up? It's iFlynn here, and welcome to episode 13 of my Warframe, the Ultimate Beginner's Guide 2.0. In today's video, we are going to be covering a lot, so much to the point where I have actually made myself a little list of all the things that we have to cover. So instead of wasting your time, let's go ahead and jump right into it. So the first thing that I'm going to be setting you guys up to do is to take on EIDOLONS. Now, EIDOLONS are these big enemies that are going to spawn within the plains of Eidolon exclusively at nighttime, and they're gonna spawn from the bodies of water that you can find around the open world, right? So you just come in through this door at nighttime, and you're gonna hear a big, I guess like a roaring noise, almost like, and you just follow this roaring noise to find your Eidolon, right? So if we head over here, we can see a big blue glow. This is what we're looking for. So this is our Eidolon over here. He kind of looks like a dinosaur with a tree as an arm. So this here one right here, this is called the Eidolon Terrorist. I like to call him Terry. There are two other Eidolons that will spawn in if you capture this Eidolon instead of killing him, which you spawn in by taking a thing that he drops whenever you capture him called a Brilliant Eidolon Shard to a little shrine, which is all the way over at a big body of water over here. I believe it's called Gara Tot Lake. Yep. So you want to head over to that. I know I'm a little bit slow at the minute, but that's because I haven't ranked up my operator whatsoever. There is a little shrine all the way over there. What you're going to do is place your Brilliant Eidolon Shard on that, and then the next Eidolon, which I call Gari, he's going to spawn from this body of water. Then you can capture him, and then take another Brilliant Eidolon Shard over to that, and then Hari is going to spawn in. So Terry is the first one, Gari is the second one, and then Hari is the third one. So Terry is just your regular Eidolon, Gari shoots rocks, and then Hari shoots lightning. Hari is a little bit tough, especially for players who haven't got like good operator equipment and maxed out mods and stuff like that. Realistically, you don't want to be fighting the Eidolons whatsoever until you have the mods maxed out that I'm going to show you in today's video. I was able to do it without my mods maxed, but it was definitely difficult, and the idea of doing Eidolons is to sort of do them as fast as possible. Now, what I'm talking about, you don't necessarily have to do, but you have to think of your operator, this here guy, your midget man. This guy is like a quality of life extension to your Warframe arsenal, right? Your weapons, your Warframe, stuff like that. And players who invest into ranking this guy up are going to be far more powerful than players that don't, right? And to rank him up efficiently, what you have to be doing is doing your daily focus cap, right? So if you go to your little operator chair, it's going to say that you have a certain amount of focus that you can get in a day. You earn that by equipping your focus lens to, your Warframe, then running around and getting kills with your Warframe abilities, or you can equip it to your weapon and then get kills with that whenever you pick up the little focus conversion yellow orb that spawns in your missions. So that is going to convert earned XP into focus, and you can only get so much of that within a day. And then there's also the method of capturing Eidolons to get brilliant shards, right? So to capture an Eidolon, what we have to do is we need to destroy these little drones in the plains of Eidolon. For Terry, or the first Eidolon, you need to destroy 2 drones, but then for the 2 Eidolons after, or I say you need to destroy 2 drones, you have to activate 2 drones, make them follow you, and then you have to kill these little small enemies called Vomulus near these drones so they glow blue, and then you can start taking on the Eidolon, right? Now, whenever you shoot an Eidolon for the first time, you're going to realize that you deal literally no damage to him, right? So what we have to do is we have to get a better amp to then take down his shields, right? Because the only thing that can damage the Eidolon shields is the operator, is the midget man with his amp. But you'll notice if you try to take him on with the first amp that you got, or the laser beam, God forgive you if you tried that, you'll notice that you deal literally no damage, right? So what we have to do is we have to get a better amp. But the way to get the resources needed to upgrade our standing with the guy that we met, it was either last episode or a few episodes ago, So if you go to the front door of the of Cetus and then take a right over here, go to this door in your midget man. This here will be the guy who gives you your first amp. So if we press X on him, we can see that he's got standing, right? So he is basically a syndicate, but we have to rank him up with these things called Eidolon cores, right? So we go to Sentient Cores, not Eidolon cores. So we need to get these Sentient Cores. The way that you usually do that is by killing Eidolons or capturing Eidolons, but the thing is, like, we can't do that right now. So there has to be more efficient ways of getting these Sentient Cores to rank up with our boy Onko over here so we can get a better amp so we can actually start taking on Eidolons, right? So what we have to do is we have to go out of our way to get Ivara. Now, Ivara is a Warframe that we've been focusing on farming up since, like, we started this. So if you guys recall, I explained once that there are spy missions, and basically spy missions and all the other missions in the game are sort of separated into tiers. So one quarter of the star chart is going to be like tier 1, then another quarter tier 2, then another quarter tier 3, and then you have all these special missions around that have unique drops and stuff like that. Well, since we got to, I believe, Neptune, we were in tier 3, right? So the spy missions there give you the ability to get the Ivara Neuroptics and the Ivara Blueprint. So I'm going to have on screen now a list of items which you can farm from tier 3 spy missions and their drop chance as well. So if you haven't got these items on screen, you want to go ahead and get them. Once you get the Neuroptics and the Blueprints, then you can go ahead and craft Ivara, level her to 30, and then what we're going to be doing is we're going to be making a build that has 100% power strength at least, so make sure that your power strength stat isn't affected in any way. And then we also want to be stacking on power range and also power duration, right? Now, the reason that we need power range and power duration is because range is just going to allow you to pickpocket enemies from further away, and then power duration is going to reduce the amount of time needed to pickpocket an enemy, because that's what Ivara's third ability, Prowl, does. It allows us to go invisible. We can't, like, parkour and stuff whenever we're invisible with her third ability, but we can walk slowly over to enemies and pickpocket them to get extra loot drops from them. And we're basically going to be walking up to these little small enemies called Vomulists and pickpocketing them for their Sentient Core. So if you just go out at nighttime, look around for these Vomulists, press your free as Ivara, walk up to it. There's a chance that it's going to drop a Sentient Core for you. It's going to keep on, like, trying to pickpocket from until you finally get something. Then what you can do is you can shoot him, go into your operator, use your amp to kill him, and then chances are you're also going to get another core. So that's the most efficient way to farm these Sentient Cores. Then once you do that, just come here, trade them in, and then what you're looking to get to begin with is the rank of Moat, right? So we have to get to the rank of Moat to get this, the Raplak Prism. We've got to get the Pencha Scaffold and the Klapkra Brace. That sounds like a weird word to pronounce. But you'll notice that the resources needed to actually craft these are resources that you probably don't have a lot of, right? That's because they're Plains of Eidolon exclusive resources. So there's a Radite there. That's just a little thing that you can find laying around the Plains of Eidolon. There's Mercray Liver. That's a fish. That's a resource from a fish. There is Tier Azurite and Escher Devar. That's mining materials. So if you haven't been paying attention to the open worlds within Warframe, now is the time to do so, because it's very, very, very important for efficiency's sake to pick up your Raplak Prism, your Pencha Scaffold, and your Klapkra Brace, and go ahead and put that together, right? So you actually have to take these to your foundry, craft them. They take, I think, 12 hours, and then, actually, no, it's 1 hour. They take 1 hour each, and then you have to bring them back to this guy, and then he's going to put it together for you. You can level your amps the same way you can level your Warframes and your weapons. So you have the Moat Amp Blueprint at the minute. Not the blueprint, the actual weapon. But you have the Moat Amp at the minute, and you would have noticed if you're playing as your operator, just whenever you have this thing equipped, that it is gaining levels. So you want to make sure that you go to, you know, Hildren or something and bring out your little Moat Amp, and then just run around and kill enemies with it so you can level that up from 0 to 30, because it's more mastery, and the more mastery you have, the more efficient you can be within a day within Warframe, right? So I guess the goal that I'm giving you guys is to go ahead and rank up with your uncle boy here, right? So you can get to the rank of moat. So then you can purchase the Raplak Prism, your Pencha Scaffold, and your Clapcra Brace. I'll have an image of the Ivara build that I want you guys to try and ship for on screen now, and just it'll sort of give you a good idea of what you want to throw on. And then after that, well, during this, because you're not going to be able to full on work towards this all the time, you have to wait for what's it called? You have to wait for night to come around before you can do this, because the Vomulas only spawn at nighttime. You can also work on your Plains of Eidolon standing, right? Because you want to be doing bounties, you want to be farming fish, you have to be doing fishing, and you also have to be doing mining as well to get the resources and things needed to craft all of this stuff. So your short-term goal is to get these 3 things, craft them, and then put them together by coming to this guy and then go into amp assembly, right? So you can actually go ahead and take a look. So it's the Raplak Prism. Is it the Pencha? I think it's this one. Yeah, short-term memory loss here. And then so this here is the amp that you're going for. This is the minimum that you want to ship for before you try to take on Eidolons. Taking on Eidolons requires you to go around, look for these little drones, right? So you have to kill these 2 drones, and then you have to have them follow you, right? So you hack them, they follow you, and then you have to kill Vomulus near them, and then they're going to gain charges from these Vomulus. They're going to start to glow blue. Then you go to your Eidolon, and you use your amp to destroy the shield on the Eidolon. You cannot damage this Eidolon until the shield is gone, and you can't damage the shield with anything but your amp, right? And then once the shield is down, you're going to destroy a limb, so you can see his knees, and you can see like things on his arms. I think it's his elbows, actually. Maybe it's the shoulders, I forget, but it's one of the 2. You shoot these with a radiation sniper, so the likes of the Lanka. You could maybe even use a Rubico or Rubico Prime. I would recommend the Lanka for a newer player because it's just pure radiation, and you don't need anything like building combo or anything like that there to make it the most effective. So you get the Lanka. Again, I'll have on screen right now the type of build that you want to be going for with the Lanka before I jump in the do Eidolons. And then you're going to shoot this limb. He's going to sort of yell. And then these charged up drone things are going to latch to him and stop him from teleporting. If you were to damage him or destroy one of these limbs whenever your drones aren't charged and aren't latched to him, then he's going to teleport to another random body of water on the map. And you're going to have to run around and go and kill him or find him or whatever, right? And then have your little drones with you again before you take down his limbs, right? So that's basically that. And you have to do that 4 times. Then he's going to be just shooting wherever once his shield is down. He's going to die, but if you have the lures, then they're going to capture him. Then you're going to get a brilliant Eidolon Sharp, which you can trade in for a lot more focus. So that was a lot to take in, but trust me, this is something that you just have to do if you want to like be as efficient as possible in Warframe, you know? So short-term goal is to get Ivara, get her to level 30, shoot for a build like the one on screen, go to the Plains of Eidolon at nighttime, walk up to a Vomulus. I'll have gameplay on screen now of that happening, pickpocket it while you're in your third ability for it to drop a Sentient Core, then kill it, right? So you have to shoot it with your gun, then go into your operator, then kill it, right? And then just keep on doing that until you can rank up with your quills, get to the rank of Moat, come into Browse Wares, purchase the Raplak Prism Blueprint, the Pencha Scaffold Blueprint, and the Clapcra Brace Blueprint when you can. Go back to your foundry, have those crafting to take an hour each and a bunch of these resources. So while you're doing all those other steps, you want to also be playing in the Plains of Eidolon. You want to be doing your bounties. You want to be finding as many resources as possible. You want to be fishing and mining. I'll go ahead and I'll show you guys how you can start fishing and mining. So if you come down these steps and you go deeper into Cetus and these markets over here, you actually bring up the minimap. You can see a mining icon and a fishing icon. So if you head over to the mining icon first, there is a little guy over here. You want to get this Nosam cutter. So this is another thing that you have to actually go through and buy. keep on ranking up with your Plains of Eidolon. You see this bounty, right? So this here standing right here, the Baldy Bap guy. And you have to go through and you have to buy all of these here things as well, right? So they upgraded Cutter and all these different blueprints here, because you're going to need these blueprints to craft the gems, I guess you could call them. So you have your mining resources, which you use to craft these gems, which you then use to craft your amps. I know it's a lot of time getting, it's a lot of grind, but that's just how it is. So you want to go through and get all of this stuff. And then on top of that, there's also the fishing stuff as well. So we come over to this lady over here, go to Browse Wares. You've got these different rods, right? You want to go ahead and pick up these rods. You want to pick up the bait. You want to pick up the dye. There's a lot more bait that you need. So if you guys recall, there was a component or a resource that we needed, which involved Mercury. I think it was Mercury liver or something. So you need to have this bait before you can actually catch Mercuries from the bodies of water within the Plains of Eidolon, right? So you got to get this bait, you toss it into the water, Mercuries will hopefully spawn in, you catch them, and then you come back to this lady, and then you, do you provide or do you cut? It's one of the two of them, but you can cut them up, I think, for resources, or you can provide them for standing. I think that's how it is. So you cut them up to get the resources, and then you go and you craft whatever it is that you need to craft, right? There's also specials in here. You can buy stuff, you know, if you wanted to with platinum. Wouldn't recommend it. It's probably not worth it unless you're really strapped for time and you do have the spare platinum lying around. You can buy fish from other players as well, and fishing is also a really efficient way of upping your Plains of Eidolon standing with the Baldy Bap guy, right? So I would recommend doing bounties because you're going to get, you know, more lenses and stuff from bounties, which you can then use to create greater lenses. So if you go back to your market, type in greater lens, then you can get a blueprint for that and then upgrade your lens. That way, farming focus is going to be a lot more efficient. So I think that's everything to do with here. I don't know if I missed anything. That's the simple version of it, I guess. But that's like 17 minutes of just me explaining everything in Plains of Eidolon. And there's still a lot more to go over. I guess the rest of it is just going to be me telling you guys to go and do things, right? So I told you guys to go get Ivara. I told you guys to start working on bounties in Plains of Eidolon. You also want to be doing the same in Fortuna. Let's go ahead and jump to Fortuna really fast because there's a few things in Fortuna that I want to talk about as well. I could have explained Zaws there, but I guess we'll also explain Zaws here in Fortuna. So come over to Fortuna. We're just going to go ahead and jump into any random instance of it. Right? So Fortuna is pretty much the same as the Plains, right? There is like fishing and stuff like that. So the fishing guy is over here. This is the business. He's going to have everything that you need whenever it comes to fishing. There's also hunting. So this is the fishing rod right here, the shock prod fishing spear. There's bait and stuff like that you need to get. The trank rifle and all these different lures. So that's hunting. Hunting is a really efficient way to up your Fortuna standing. You can use Equinox to put enemies asleep in her night form. And, you know, you just trank rifle them or whatever, and then you can get a lot of standing from that, right? There should be videos out there of hunting in action. I'll probably make one myself at some point, probably next year, because I've got a lot planned for next year. But hunting is a really fast way of increasing your standing in Fortuna. There's a lot of bait here. You basically want to go through and get all of this stuff just like in the Plains of Eidolon. So everything in this vendor, get it, because it's very important. Again, same thing can be said if we go to the mining guy. There's another mining guy over here. You want to pick up everything in this vendor as well, because these are actually blueprints right here. So you get, in this case, the Phasmin, right? So you can have smooth Phasmin. You need 10 Phasmin from just mining in Fortuna or in the Orbalis to then make smooth Phasmin, which you will then use to make like a kit gun or something, which I'll explain in a little bit, right? So get everything here. You don't need to get these scenes if you don't want them, or these glyphs. You know, they don't really matter all that much. But the Sun Point Plasma Drill, you definitely want that. Maybe I asked you guys to already get this because I already have it in my inventory, but it's entirely down to you. Well, it's not down to you. You need to get it right now. Yeah, get all of this here stuff. Really important, super important. There's this guy over here. I would leave this to last. This is just little Moa pets. They're cute and everything, but they're not necessary. Then you've got your bounty provider over here, right? So this is just the person you go to get your bounties. You can also do that while you're actually in the Orvalis. And then there's another person all the way over here. You have to go into your operator, enter the back room, go talk to this person over here. And you'll notice, this is a little bit of story part because I haven't done this yet, so we have to sit for it. Blah, 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 blah. You talk to me. Talk faster, please. Could I just skip your dialogue? I'm trying to explain to people what they have to do here. It's kind of a lot. My voice is kind of starting to fade. I don't know if you guys can tell. Please. This is Little Duck. This is Little Duck. She doesn't go quack, unfortunately. So is she actually a little duck? It's just her name. So this is another person you can rank up your stand-in with, right? Right here, Voxelaris. You go to Browse Wares, and you'll see that there's a bunch of other stuff, right? So got a bunch of operator cosmetics, got a bunch of arcanes. Arcanes are like these things that whenever a condition is met, you'll get a bonus on top of everything else that you have. So one that I can name off the top of my head is Arcane Velocity, which is whenever you get a crit, then you have a chance to get bonus fire rate with your pistols, which is really cool. But yeah, so this one is like on hit, converts 98% void damage into electric damage. Not the best, but you'll also see that there are blueprints for Warframe, so Hildren and Baruch. Baruch's an Exalted Warframe, so he's got an Exalted fourth ability, kind of like Excalibur's Exalted Blade, except it's like fists that can like punch wind and it goes through walls. And Hildren is a Warframe who can sort of like jump into a helicopter mode, and she's based all about shields, right? So she, instead of having an energy pill, she takes the fuel for her abilities from her shields, and she has like 3,000 shields at max rank or something like that. So it's really insane. And you'll also see that there are more parts for amps in here as well. So the amps are sort of like separated into tiers. So the ones that I told you to get from the Plains of Eidolon, that would be 111. I should actually go back to Plains of Eidolon to explain that to you guys. But basically, the first set of amp parts that you can get in here, this would be 4, 4, and 4, right? So the first part, so the first number 4 is your prism, right? The second one is your scaffold. So this is the fourth scaffold, and this is the fourth brace, right? So I could say prism number 4, scaffold number 4, and seal brace number 4, right? Or just brace number 4. And that would, or should, communicate to you that I mean, you know, these 3 parts right here. So the Cantic, the Exard, and the Suyo, right? That's 4, 4, 4. And this next set, this is 5, 5, and 5, you know, Lega, Disic, and Plaga. So what I'm asking you guys to do is do 1, 1, 1, right? And that's just in release order, or order that you could acquire them in, right? So it's very likely that this is the 4th set of amp parts that you're going to come across, if you get what I mean by that. So I'll go back and explain it in Plains of Eidolon as well. But realistically, what you want to be doing in Fortuna is just doing your bounties, running around, mining, fishing. You also want to be hunting as well to, of course, increase your standing as fast as possible, right? There is also K drives there, but again, K drives is just something that I will leave until last. Let's jump right into status here. Again, I know this is a lot, guys. I'm sorry, but this is just like a whole bunch of stuff that you have to do, right? So tell them to start working on bounties in Plains of Eidolon and Fortuna. That's done. Oh god, I still have a lot more to get through. I know this is a long episode. I'm sorry, guys. I am sorry. So if we head back over here, you guys will see once I get to the door. I wish I was playing a faster Warframe for this. Probably should have thought of that. Didn't expect myself to talk this much. But if we talk to this guy again, we go to Browse Wares. So the Raplak Prism, the Pencha Scaffold, the Klapkra Brace, this is 111. And then the Swak Prism, the Straxgun Scaffold, and the Jutney Brace, this is 222. And then the Granmu, Klebrick, and Lauren, that's 333. So to start with, you guys are going for 1, 1, and 1. Moamp, this is just number 0 because it sucks. 111. And then after 111, I would say go for 223. So that's the Swak Prism, the Straxgun Scaffold. And then after that, I believe you want to go for 227. I think that's right. I think that's right off the top of my head. So that would be the order that I would go in for getting your amps. But keep in mind, you also have to get all of the prisms, right? So the Raplak Prism, the Swak Prism, and the Granmu Prism, and make one set of amp with every single prism, because the prism is the part that is going to give you the mastery, right? So if we go to equipment, we go to amps right here, you can see that you only get mastery from the prisms. So it's in your best interest to make one amp with one of every prism, right? So you want to make a amp with the Cantic Prism, an amp with the Granmu Prism, an amp with the Clamora Prism, Lega Prism, Moat Prism, Ram Prism. It's all about just playing around with them and then finding prisms that you like. This is something that I haven't even done in my main account because it is a lot of work, especially to get the resources that you need to craft these things. So don't stress too much about it, but if you want to be that 110% completionist, like you're that type of guy, this is what you got to do, you know? So that is hopefully all of that explained. We can start talking about Zaws now. Zaws are melee weapons, which you can craft. You guys have probably noticed. But if you come over to this little forge icon that you can see on the minimap over here, there's a similar thing in Fortuna called kit guns. And I'll explain those in a second as well. But you rank up with your Plains of Eidolon standing. You can buy different parts for Zaws, and Zaws are made up of 3 parts. So you've got a strike, you've got a grip, and you've got a link, right? So a strike is basically your blade, right? So the Miwan is what I would recommend going for. You've got your grip, which will determine how you hold it, what type of stances can go on it, and what type of weapon it is. So if I were to use, for example, the Quarb right here, it would turn it into, I believe, a sword. Might be wrong about that. Yep, a sword. And I would usually go for a Quana Jai 2. And you can see if you go down the preview gilded, it will show you the actual stats of it. So this would be a weapon that has 14% critical chance, a 2.0 multi, 732 slam, 244 slide, 25% status, you know, that type of thing. So you can view all those stats. There's a big difference between ungilded and gilded. So whenever you first get this, it's going to be ungilded. You have to take it, level it from 0 to 30, and then you come back here, you gild it, and then it's going to be its final form, and you can like customize it, add forma, put on an Orkin, Catalyst and stuff like that. And then, you know, it's just a good weapon at that point. But before you gild it, you're not going to be able to put on Orkin Catalyst or Forma or anything. You have to come back to this guy once it hits 30 for the first time to then gild it, and then you got to level it from 0 to 30 again. It's a lot of grind. I know, I'm talking a lot. And basically, if you come to your show profile, you go to equipment, and then you type in, I wonder if we can actually sort by strikes. Can we? Am I being Pepega right now? Maybe because I haven't... Oh, no. Okay, so you can actually see the things here. So you can see the play Keywar. You can see the play Kripath. So these are strikes for your Zaws. So every single strike, just like your amps, like you have to level the Prism to get the mastery from it. For Zaws, you've got to level up the strikes, right? So you have to make a Zaw with a Ballast Strike, a Syaf Strike, Detat Strike, Dokrim, Crunch, Miwan, Alufa. Is that how you say that? I don't know. Play Keywar, play Kripath, Rabvi, Sephan. You have to make a Zaw with every single one of those strikes to get the maximum amount of mastery from this system. Then back in Fortuna, there's also a system for kit guns, right, where you have to level up the barrels, right? So it's basically the same thing. Like, you can choose different loaders and grips and stuff like that to make your own kit gun. Kit guns are, in my opinion, a lot better than Zaws, even though melee is kind of the meta right now. I would value a kit gun more than I would value a Zaw, simply because melee is so broken in the state of the game right now that it doesn't really matter which melee you're using. I recommend the Cronin Prime, but honestly, it doesn't matter too much. But a kit gun, you can make it like pure radiation damage or deal a lot of radiation damage, and that'll help you out versus like certain enemies like EIDOLONS, for example. You can make a kit gun which can take down the Terrorless Eidolon in pretty much no time. So if I go to, let me see, I could just search for it maybe. Oh, there is no search here. It doesn't actually, oh, there's one. So Tomb Finger, that will be a barrel that you can get from the, what's it called? I can sort by name. Okay, yeah, it already is. Tomb Finger, that's another barrel that you can get for your kit guns. Then there's one called Catchmoon, if I can find that one for you guys. This is all A's. Catchmoon, and then there is, I believe, Gaze, and then there's Rattler, I think it's called, which is a full auto one, sort of like a nail gun. On my way past it. Maybe I'm forgetting the name of it right now. Rattleguts, there it is. Not Rattler, Rattleguts. So that one's a full auto one. Gaze is like a beam, Catchment is like a shockwave, and then Tomb Finger is just like a cannon type of thing. Tomb Finger, in my opinion, is the best. Then whenever it comes to the strikes that are available for you guys at the Zaws, I would say that Miwan is probably the best, unless you can get your hands on the Plague Crit Buff, which is only available in an event called, I forget what it's called, Plague Star. So you can get the Plague parts from an event called Plague Star, which comes around pretty often, every couple of months. So it's a thing you have to wait for, and you're probably going to want to get the Warframe called Titania before you do it, because Titania is going to make it far more efficient, and you can get a lot of really good rewards from it. So, yeah, that is basically everything to do with the open worlds done. Let's go back to the ship real fast and talk about more stuff that I want you guys to do. So I want you guys to complete the quest called the Limbo Theorem. The Limbo Theorem is a quest that you unlocked ages ago. I didn't mention it simply because you don't have to do it up until this point. The reason that we want to do it is because we're going to be doing spy missions on the moon called Lua, and those spy missions are rather difficult if you don't have Limbo. Limbo makes them drastically easier. They're quite confusing. I will walk you guys through it in the next episode. But basically, we're going to be going for a particular mod in the Lua spy missions called Blood Rush, which is going to make our melee absolutely insane, because it's going to give us additional critical chance scaling with our combo counter. So the more you're hitting enemies, the higher your critical chance is going to be. So the higher your critical chance is, the more damage you're going to be dealing, because every single time your crit chance goes over 100%, you're getting an additional multiplier, more multiplicative damage, which is crazy damage. So melee is kind of broken right now. So you want to start the Limbo Theorem. It is an Arcwing interception mission paired with a couple of excavation missions. So it's really straightforward. The enemies are about level 25 to 30, I think. So if you just use your Hex Shotgun, use Mesa, for example, anything like that, it's really down to you guys. You know, just use whatever frame you're comfortable with and you're good at doing excavations with. Should be pretty straightforward. And I also want you guys to do the Octavia's Anthem quest. Now, the Octavia's Anthem quest is a pretty cool quest. You shouldn't really need me to walk you through it, but basically what's going to be happening is you're just going to play through a few missions, and at the end of these missions, there's going to be like a little console that you walk up to, and you have to like match on the console what it's showing you at the top of your screen, basically, to play like a little tune. And then at the end, there's like a jumping puzzle where you have to jump on these red things and these glowing things to sort of like fix the music that is happening as this big laser swipes around an arena. It's really straightforward. It's pretty intuitive, so it shouldn't be too difficult. So let me just read down my list here. Tell them to complete the star chart. This is another thing. Because we're going to be jumping into EIDOLONS sometime soon, like I mentioned, you need to be upgrading your mods to max rank. You can theoretically do it without maxing your mods out, but it's going to be rather difficult, right? You're going to spend a lot of time killing one limb or killing the Eidolon or something along those lines, and that's going to waste time. And the more time you waste, then the less brilliant Eidolon shards or cores or whatever they're called you're going to get per run, right? And the less you're getting per run, well, then the less focus you're getting, you know? So you want to rank up your mods to max rank, and yeah. Let me go ahead and show you guys what I'm talking about here. So if you complete the star chart, you're going to get a game mode called Arbitrations, and Arbitrations get you a ton of endo because they get you these sculptures. Sorties are also a really good way of getting endo to rank up your mods, but the thing is, these might be a little bit difficult for you, so you want to rank up your mods, and then you'll start with the sorties, right? So the faster you rank up your mods, the more efficiently you're going to be able to do things. So it's important to complete the star chart, right? Because you're going to unlock more things which can get you a lot of endo, but at the same time, you need a lot of endo. So what I'd recommend you guys doing, do like a Dark Sector excavation mission, right? Because that'll get you 400 endo. So you can do 2 excavators and then leave, that type of thing. And you'll get 400 endo on those. You could also do the arena missions here. So jump into a public lobby here with Mesa, do these, and the enemies will drop endo pretty consistently. So that's a really good way of getting endo as well. So completing the star chart, getting endo to rank up your mods, that's something that you want to be paying attention to. You also want to craft the personal quarters. So the personal quarters is a thing that you got rewarded at the end of the War of Inquest, and is going to allow us to start the next story quest, the next main story quest. So you want to complete the Limbo quest, so you can get Limbo. Start crafting Limbo, because we're going to need him for the next episode. Complete the Octavia's Anthem quest. Don't worry about building Octavia, because I need to show you guys how to get all of her parts. We'll do that in the next episode. You want to get yourself Ivara, and then start farming up those cores from the Vomulists. And then you also want to pick up Vault as well, because Vault is going to be the Warframe that we're going to be using. Pretty sure I asked you guys to get him in the last video. He's going to be the Warframe that we're using to kill the EIDOLONS, because his electric shield ability actually gives us bonus critical damage and bonus electric damage. Now, electric damage is used to make radiation damage, so you pair electric with fire, and then you get your radiation. So if you're getting bonus electric damage while shooting through his shield, then your radiation damage is going to be increased, and that's going to make taking down the Eidolon limbs and the Eidolon himself a lot quicker, because he's weak to radiation damage. So I think that is everything. That is everything that I wanted to fit into this video. It was a long one. You know, there is a lot to talk about here. There's a lot of things that I wanted to mention, but it's basically just like, hey, you go here, do all these things, start doing this, just go and do it. Play the game. So bounties are going to take a lot of time. Fishing is going to take a lot of time. Mining is going to take a lot of time. Ranking up with your syndicates is going to take a lot of time. And honestly, it's just better to do it whenever your warframes are more powerful than to try and struggle for it at the start of the game. I think I realized that while making this, that it's just better to sort of rush through the star chart and then start working on that Plains of Eidolon stuff. So this is a lot of rambling. This is a lot of things that you need to do, but go do it. Good luck. Have fun. I did say in, like, was it the previous video or the last video? This is where it all begins, right? You're nowhere near done. Welcome to the grind. It is Warframe. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, go ahead, hit that like button below. If you want to see more Warframe content from me, hit subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.